Well, let's start a new video series here on FrankenBikes. These are electric bikes that I build. They're very unique. This particular bike has got over 700 miles on it. I'll do a subsequent video later on the battery, so I've left the battery off so you can just see the raw bike. As you can see, it's a mountain bike. It's based on the e-biking kit and conversion kit. Been a very good kit for me. They, as I said, 700 miles of working out on this bike really has proven out that kit. We have a few modifications, but the basic bike is a bike from Walmart called the Black Comb. I just took all the stickers off of it. So the Black Comb you can even order now from Walmart. Cost you about $200 to $300. It's a pretty good price for a small bike. And I've made several modifications to it just because it would be, after riding it, I would find shortfalls from it. These rock shocks are one mod I put on it. I'm a big fan of using mountain bikes for electric bikes. They are very durable and very stable. This bike has been, I hit a rock at 20 miles an hour on it one time. It flew over the rock like it was a jump. If that was a road bike, I'd have been down. I had to retrue the back wheel, bottomed out the front shocks. Ironically, I was going to buy new shocks for it when I hit that rock. So the frame is incredibly sturdy. These bolts on here, I've had a few of those get lost, so I've had to replace those, but keep those things tight. When you install this kit, you do have to kind of bend the frame out. So when you take the rear wheel off, you just put like your car jack in there and jack it up and bend the frame a little bit, spread it a little bit wider. But then it fits right in there, no problem. You can see over here the wiring runs from the back, and it just runs right up the line here. I keep them separated from the brakes because remember, this platform is moving when you're riding. So you don't want to tie down stuff. You want to allow them to slip. You see the pivot points here where it moves. I got a little slack there so it can move as well. And then I've actually taken all the connectors off and put my own connectors on based on Dean's connectors. And so they're a lot tighter. I have a pouch here with, a few tools, Allen wrenches and stuff like that we need to ride. I'm a big fan of these. This is what? Ergon GP92 handles. Really nice. They really, I work out on these bikes, so they really relieve my palm stress. I have a GPS computer that runs on this one, and I have also the GPS radar unit that goes on the back down here. I might do a video on that a little bit later, some really good accessories for bikes. I'm using the half throttle. I just essentially cut this one in half so the throttle moves freely on this bike. And probably the first mod I did, most important mod, was the Shimano XT hydraulic brake lines. Those are great. You can also order on Amazon the bleed kit for them, so you can move cut the wire, cut the hosing to distance, and then re-bleed them. And down here you can see the slave cylinder and the caliper for it. These Zygote lights are fantastic. I use this light and it blinks really bright. People always see me. I have a light on the back of the battery we can look at later that really lets cars know I'm in the area. A recent mod I've done lately is this steering dampener, and I'm kind of getting used to dealing with this. Essentially, this keeps the steering from moving really fast. Problem once we put these new shocks on it was that if I'd let my hands off the handlebars, the steering would wobble, so that took the wobble out of it. And this is kind of a luxury item, not necessarily that important at the moment, but. Let me put the battery on and I'll extend the conversation on the battery and talk a little bit about the electronics for FrankenBike 1. Okay, let's talk a little bit about batteries. I actually make my batteries. That's probably the hardest part of doing this is batteries. Batteries are expensive. If you have a classic bike, like I do have a store-bought Gazelle my wife rides, you get a battery like this with it. And that battery's about $700. Has about 600 kilowatt hours. This battery is made from laptop batteries. These are old laptop batteries. You simply take these, you crash them on the ground, you break them open, you pull all the parts apart, and then you have to clean them up. And usually this is an old battery. It's either working or only 1 or 2 cells is not working. There's 2, 4, 6 cells in here. So you can find out which cells aren't working, collect them. Here's a set that I've collected from some batteries. So you see this is what comes out of those guys. These are all working. I usually recondition them with electronically recondition them and start them up and charge them. And then I'll come back about 2 weeks later. If they're still holding their charge, then they're good to go. And here's a battery. You can buy these mounting plates on Amazon. They're cheap. Just put the batteries in there and band them together with a spot welder and hook the wires in. And these are 4 16-volt cells. You can see these are 6 batteries wide. So you've got 2.5 milliamp hours or 2.5 amp hours per battery. So that's 6 times 2.5 or 15 amp hours per line. And each one of these is a 4-volt line. They're wired in series, so that makes a 16-volt pack. Here's a 16-volt pack. Here's one, and here's one. And then I just simply take this cascading cable, hook them all together, and it turns into a 64-volt battery. That's simple. I use this Profit Dynamite charger to charge them. I can charge them all 4 at the same time. They're essentially 4-cell lithium-ion batteries. And that goes on the back here, where I plug in the power to the bike. The last pack that I had, I gave away in good operating condition, and I had over 700 miles on it. And it's still running well. And I really like these lights. These lights are for, this is for a rear view, so these lights are very bright. And I'll put it on the bike and show you its orientation. You can see here, it sits on the back. And so now I have a really bright blinking light in the back and the bright zygote light blinking in the front. Very visible in any lighting condition. And so this bike will go 35 miles an hour even with a slight incline if you wind it all the way up. If you pedal this bike, like I go out and work out with this, so I'm pedaling. It's a very heavy bike, so it's a great workout. But your legs will start fading, so you just give yourself a little throttle. If you ride it that way, you can get 40 miles out of it. If you're just going to go out and not pedal and just ride it as a motorcycle, you're going to get about 10 miles out of it with this particular battery configuration. This battery, as I said, was a 600 watt-hour battery. This is a 900 watt-hour battery, around 900. And this is the most usable platform I've had. I've gotten at least a couple years out of this one. And with the new shock additions, the only thing I want to do next to it is I want to get this shock replaced down here. It's very hard to find that shock. It's like 145 millimeters, and such shocks are very hard to find. But I have a couple people I've had a couple of emails into a couple sites of people that make them custom, and I'm still looking for one. But anyway, that's FrankenBike 1. Hope you guys are enjoying it, and I'll have more videos to come.